In the shadowed corners of a family's fractured legacy, Elena Morales has long been the silent guardian, weaving threads of protection around her siblings to shield them from the raw edges of betrayal and unspoken pain. Years of curated silence have built her armor, but now, as the weight of hidden truths presses in, she faces the unblinking gaze of a camera in her dimly lit living room. The camera hums softly. The camera hums softly in the dim light of the apartment living room, its lens fixed on Elena Morales. She sits straight-backed on a worn armchair, hands folded in her lap like a shield. The interviewer, off-frame, remains silent, letting the red light on the recorder blink its steady demand. A cracked family photo frame rests on the side table beside her, glass spider-webbed from some long-ago drop, the smiles of her siblings frozen behind it. She doesn't touch it, but her eyes flick there once, twice. "Family now," Elena starts, voice even, measured, like she's reciting a script she's rehearsed in the mirror. It's steady. We hold it together. Meals on Sundays, calls when needed. My sister Maya, she paints in her room upstairs. Daniel, he's out there, working. We don't pry. The words come out polished, a caretaker's polish. But her fingers tighten, knuckles paling. The interviewer leans in slightly, unseen, but felt. And the betrayal? The question lands flat. No drama, just the weight of truth-seeking. Elena's gaze sharpens on the lens, holding it like an adversary. Betrayal implies intent. It was a choice he made, hiding things. Money moved quiet, papers buried. I knew some, not all. I stepped in, kept it from spilling over. For Maya, she's young, sensitive. Artists see too much already. She pauses, breath catching just a fraction. The frame catches the light, the crack glinting like a fault line. Her protector roll, it's her armor, worn thin. Inside, something stirs, a tremor she swallows. The childhood home's cramped living room, lit by a single bulb. Daniel paces, sweat beading on his forehead, envelope clutched in his fist. Bills, hidden debts from their father's benders. Elena, barely 20, steps between him and the door as footsteps thud from the hall. "He's not here," she says, voice steady, blocking Maya's curious approach. Action swift. She ushers Daniel out the back, heart pounding, then turns to Maya with a forced smile. "Just fixing the sink. Go draw something." Trust solid then, her shield unbreakable. She pockets the envelope, seals the secret. Back to now. Elena's breath catches. She sets the photo down harder than intended, the frame rattling. Outside, city horns blare faintly through the window. A reminder of the unraveling. Her phone buzzes. Anya's text. "Session tomorrow." Daniel confirmed. The name alone twists something inside. She replays the morning's revelation in her mind. Daniel's financial schemes exposed online. The addiction cover-up that left Maya reeling. Why defend him still? Her hands clench. The photo's dust smears her skin like old lies. Another cut. Flashback. 5 years back. Abandoned playground at dusk. Chains creaking in the wind. Daniel slumps on a rusted slide. Confession spilling. Skimming family funds to bury Dad's relapses. Elena listens, then acts. She burns the evidence scraps in a nearby trash bin. Flames flickering against her determined face. "We protect our own," she tells him, voice low, pulling him into a hug. Maya waits at home, oblivious, sketching birds that would never fly. Loyalties' weight presses then, a chosen burden, present. Elena stands, pacing the kitchen now, actions mirroring the past, checking locks, glancing at the door as if secrets might barge in. Confusion floods her eyes. The photo stares back, pristine but tainted. Was that brother real? Or just the version she built to hold them together? She doesn't touch it again. The question lingers, unanswered, as the camera pulls back. City shadows lengthening across the floor. The apartment hummed with the low drone of city traffic filtering through cracked windows. Maya knelt by the bookshelf in Elena's dimly lit living room, her fingers brushing dust from a forgotten drawer. She pulled out a shoebox, heart quickening at the weight of it. Inside, faded letters, bank statements marked with Daniel's scrawled notes, photos of their childhood home now yellowed and creased. But it was the frame that stopped her, a family portrait from better days, the glass spiderwebbed with cracks, as if someone had slammed it down in anger and never fixed it. Her breath caught. The dates on the statements matched the year Daniel vanished from their lives, the year Elena had sworn everything was under control. "You knew," Maya whispered, voice cracking like that glass. She clutched the frame, shards pricking her palm, a thin line of blood welling up. Shock bloomed in her chest, hot and disbelieving, twisting into raw offense. Elena had hidden this, Daniel's embezzlement from their parents' savings, the addiction-fueled lies Elena had buried to keep the family afloat. Footsteps from the kitchen. Elena froze in the doorway, mug in hand, steam curling like unspoken regrets. "Maya, what are you? You kept this?" Maya surged to her feet, frame thrust forward, like evidence in a courtroom. Her eyes, usually soft with artist's dreams, hardened. "All this time, you told me he just left, that it was their mess, not ours. But you covered for him. For years." Elena's face tightened, the stoic mask she wore like armor slipping just a fraction. She set the mug down, deliberate, buying time. "It wasn't that simple. I was protecting you. Us. If it all came out, protecting." Maya's voice rose, sharp as the blood on her hand. Offense fueled her now, propelling her forward. She dropped the frame on the coffee table. It thudded, cracks widening. "You lied to me. I trusted you to tell me the truth, Elena. Not curate some fairy tale where Daniel's the ghost and you're the saint holding it together." Elena stepped closer, hands raised as if to steady a falling world, but her eyes flickered, control fraying at the edges. "I did what I had to. The family's barely hanging on. You think dragging this up helps?" Maya's laugh was bitter, short. "It helps me see you clearly. No more hiding. We do an interview. Record it. All of it. Or I'm done pretending we're okay." The air thickened, tension coiling between them like the city's distant sirens. Elena's jaw clenched, the weight of admission pressing in. Would she yield or grip tighter to the fragments? Maya waited, pulse thundering, the broken frame a silent accusation on the table. The camera's handheld sway catches the dim glow of the apartment's single lamp, casting long shadows across Daniel's face. He sits rigid in the worn armchair, fingers twisting a frayed cuff. The recorder hums softly on the coffee table between him and Anya, its red light steady like a watchful eye. Elena hovers off frame, arms crossed, her breath shallow. Maya perches on the edge of the couch, sketchpad abandoned, eyes fixed on her brother. "I hid it," Daniel says, voice flat, eyes on the lens. "The accounts, the withdrawals, Mom's habit. I covered it up because I thought it would break us all if it came out." He pauses, jaw tightening. "I manipulated the records. For the family. For Elena's sake, mostly. She was holding everything together." The words land like stones in still water. Maya's face drains, her knuckles whitening on the couch arm. "You... what?" she whispers, but it's barely audible, a crack in the quiet. Distrust flares in her eyes. raw, unfiltered, the kind that simmered for years under Elena's careful curations. Elena steps forward, instinctively placing a hand on Maya's shoulder. "Daniel, wait." But her voice wavers, caught between shielding and the pull of his gaze. Loyalty tugs at her, the old reflex to smooth the edges, to say he didn't mean it that way. Yet his admission slices through, forcing her to see the fractures she's patched over. Anya nods gently from her chair, the therapist's calm anchor. "Keep going, Daniel. The truth here is for all of you." He leans in, the recorder's magnetic button glinting as he brushes it accidentally, a faint click echoing, like a door unlatching. "I betrayed you, Maya. I let you believe the stories Elena told, the clean ones. It was easier than facing what I'd done." His eyes flicked to Elena, pleading. "I thought protection meant silence." Maya recoils, pulling away from Elena's touch. The betrayal deepens, a chasm widening between sisters now. Tension coiling in the air, like the city's distant hum filtering through the window. Elena's hand hangs empty, her mind racing, trust in Daniel fracturing, yet clinging to the brother who once shielded her too. Divided, she stands there, the protector unmoored, wondering if they can absorb this without her walls. The session pauses, the recorder's light blinks off. Outside, the urban night presses close, unanswered. The apartment's living room felt smaller under the weight of midday light slanting through half-drawn blinds. Anya sat in the worn armchair, her notebook balanced on one knee, the digital recorder squat and unblinking on the coffee table between them. Its red light pulsed like a heartbeat, capturing every pause, every shift in breath. Elena perched on the edge of the couch, hands clasped too tight. Maya huddled in the opposite corner, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the floor. Daniel leaned against the wall, arms folded, his jaw set in that familiar line of resistance. "Start with the pain," Anya said, her voice steady, a gentle prod. "Not the story, the feeling it left." Elena swallowed, the words sticking. Bewilderment clouded her face, restrained, like fog on glass. "It's heavy, like I carried it all, and now it's slipping." She glanced at the recorder, its light steady. "I thought hiding it protected us. But Maya—" "No," Maya cut in, sharp but low. Her voice trembled with disbelief, not anger. "You hid everything. Daniel's mess, Mom's pills. I trusted you to tell me straight." Her fingers dug into her sleeves, knuckles white. The bewilderment in her eyes mirrored Elena's. "Why does truth feel like this? Like unraveling?" Daniel shifted, his foot scuffing the rug. "I didn't mean—" He stopped, the denial rising like bile. But Anya raised a hand. "Feel it, Daniel. What does it cost you to say it?" He met the recorder's gaze, as if it judged him. Shame crept in, softening his edges. Guilt. "Every time I see her face, it's there. I took the money to fix things, hid the rest, because I couldn't face breaking us more." His voice cracked, not dramatic, just raw. The light blinked on, etching the admission. Elena leaned forward, her restraint fracturing. "I let it happen. Shielded you both, but it hurt her worst." Shame flushed her cheeks, hot and unbidden. The recorder whirred softly, pulling the words from hiding. Maya's breath hitched. "It feels like you both chose silence over me." Disbelief lingered, but something shifted, toward acknowledgement, teetering. Anya nodded, letting the quiet stretch. The city hummed faintly outside, a distant underscore. The recorder held it all, the bewilderment giving way to shame. Voices overlapping in fragile honesty. Could they see it yet? The pain, not as betrayal, but as the door cracking open. The camera's red light blinks in the dim foyer of the old house, a relic on Elm Street, where dust motes dance in slivers of afternoon sun, piercing cracked blinds. Elena sets the tripod with steady hands, but her breath catches as she steps back. The door lock creaks behind her, a sharp, rusty protest from the past, sealing her in with ghosts she thought she'd outrun. She sits on the worn stairs, knees tucked close, the lens capturing her face in unflinching close-up. "This is where it started," she says, voice even, like reciting facts from a file. "Me, 7. Maya just born. Daniel already sneaking smokes in the yard. Mom's highs, Dad's rages. I learned to hold the pieces before they fell." Her fingers trace the banister's chipped paint. The wood, soft under calluses, from years of gripping control. The weight presses. Duty, always duty. She shielded them, hid the pill bottles, forged the smiles for school plays, whispered lies to Maya's wide eyes about why Daniel vanished for weeks. "I thought if I managed it," she continues, eyes fixed on the camera, "the fractures wouldn't show. But look at us now. I'm still holding, and it's breaking me open." A pause, the city's distant hum filtering through walls, like a reminder of the world waiting outside. Her shoulders sag, the rigid line of her jaw softening. Vulnerability seeps in, unbidden. A tear traces her cheek, not dramatic, just real. The fear, losing you both to this mess, but hiding it, that's the real lock. It keeps me alone in the saving. She leans forward, voice dropping to a whisper. "What if I let go? Name it all, without the plan." The creak echoes again as wind rattles the frame. She doesn't wipe the tear. The red light holds steady, waiting. The camera's lens hovers close, unsteady in the dim apartment light, capturing the faint tremble in Elena's fingers as she clutches the family photo. The glass is cracked, a spiderweb fracture running through their younger faces. Smiling, oblivious, she sits rigid on the worn couch, the recorder's red light blinking like an accusatory eye. Anya, off frame, nods silently, her presence a quiet anchor. "I kept it all locked away," Elena says, voice tight, each word measured like steps on thin ice. Her shoulders hunch, guarding the ache she's buried for years. The fear coils in her chest. Exposing this will unravel everything. Leave Maya staring at her like a stranger. Daniel slinking further into shadow. But the words push out anyway, raw edges scraping. The secrets. Daniel's mess with the money, the pills Mom hid. "I thought if I held it, controlled it, you'd be safe. Maya, you most of all." She glances at the photo, thumb tracing the split in the glass. It catches the city hum filtering through the window. Distant horns, a dog's bark, mirroring the buzz in her veins. Stiffness grips her throat. She wants to stop, to retreat into the old script of protector, unflinching. But Maya's face, from earlier sessions, flashes in her mind. Hurt eyes, pleading for truth over silence. "I failed you," Elena continues, softer now, the rigidity cracking. Her breath steadies, hope flickering, like the late sun slanting across the frame. "Not by hiding, but by thinking hiding was love. It wasn't. It left you alone in the dark." She sets the photo down gently, as if releasing a weight, and leans forward, eyes meeting the lens. Meeting them, wherever they are. "I'm inviting you both now. No more walls. We rebuild, or we don't. But honest, messy. Together, if you'll come." The recorder whirs on. Anya's voice breaks in, calm. "And if the truth burns on the way?" Elena pauses, the question hanging, unanswered in the air. Her gaze lingers on the cracked frame, holding the possibility. Will they step into the light, pain, and all? The camera pulls back slightly, the city's pulse fading to quiet anticipation. The apartment's dim living room hums with the faint buzz of city traffic bleeding through the cracked window. Maya sits rigid on the edge of the worn couch, her sketchbook abandoned beside her, fingers twisting the hem of her shirt. Across from her, in a folding chair, under the single lamp's harsh glow, Daniel slouches, eyes fixed on the scuffed floorboards. Between them, the recorder whirs softly on the coffee table, a squat, black device, its red light pulsing like a heartbeat, capturing every syllable without mercy. Maya clears her throat, voice steady, but laced with doubt. Question 1, she says, reading from the crumpled paper in her lap. Why did you hide the money from Mom's treatments? You knew I was saving for art school. Was it just easier to let me believe we were all in it together? Daniel shifts, jaw tightening. His hands clench on his knees, knuckles whitening. Skepticism flickers in Maya's eyes. She's heard his excuses before. The deflections that twist blame like smoke. He opens his mouth, pauses. The recorder clicks faintly, tape spinning onward, trapping the silence. Daniel starts, voice rough. I took it because I thought I could fix things faster. Dad's debts were piling up. I didn't want you to know how bad it was. You were the bright one, Maya. I figured you'd break if you saw the mess. Her gaze hardens, skepticism deepening into a quiet storm. That's not an answer. You manipulated the accounts, changed the passwords so Elena couldn't check. I found the statements. Why lie to me? To us? The air thickens, internal tension coiling like a spring. Daniel's breath hitches. He glances at the recorder, its unblinking eye forcing him to stay. No escape, no quick pivot to anger or pity. Maya's heart pounds, part fury, part fragile hope that this time he'll crack open. I lied because I was scared, he admits finally, words tumbling slow, raw. Scared you'd hate me? You trusted me, kiddo. Idolized me like I was some hero. But I wasn't. Hiding Dad's addiction, siphoning funds. It was all to keep the family from exploding. And it did anyway. I hurt you, deeply. I'm sorry. Maya's skepticism wavers, eyes glistening as anxious openness seeps in, a tentative bloom amid the thorns. She leans forward, paper trembling in her grip. Next question. When Elena covered for you, did you ever think about what that did to me? Feeling like the fool who didn't see it coming? Daniel meets her gaze for the first time, face etched with regret. No shield left. The recorder hums on, weaving their truths into something irreversible. Will he bear it all? The pain he inflicted on his trusting sister, without one last defense. The question lingers, unanswered in the heavy quiet, as the city's distant sirens underscore the fragile bridge they're building. The wind off the skyline carried a distant hum of traffic, like the city's pulse echoing their own unsteady breaths. Elena stood at the rooftop edge, hands gripping the rusted railing, her knuckles pale against the fading dusk. The glass towers ahead shimmered, a fractured horizon mirroring the uncertainty below, sharp edges catching the last light, vast and indifferent. Maya lingered a few steps back, arms crossed tight over her chest, eyes fixed on the gravel underfoot. Daniel shifted beside her, his shoulders hunched, the weight of the final interview still clinging like shadow. No one spoke. The silence stretched, heavy with the confessions they'd spilled hours ago in the dim apartment below. Elena's invitation hung there, unspoken. Rebuild or let go cleanly. But fear coiled in the quiet. The dread that one wrong word could crack them wider, scatter the pieces over this endless sprawl. Tension hummed in the air, thick as the humid evening. Elena felt it in her throat, the urge to fill the void with control, to steer them back to safety. She glanced at Maya, saw the flicker of hurt in her sister's downcast gaze. The same betrayal that had ignited this all. Daniel's jaw tightened. He opened his mouth once, then closed it, the defensive wall he'd built crumbling under the weight of his own admissions. Slowly, Elena turned from the railing. She stepped closer, not touching, but near enough for the warmth to bridge the gap. Maya looked up, eyes meeting hers, wary, searching. A small nod escaped Elena, an admission without armor. "I'm here, not shielding anymore." Daniel exhaled, long and ragged, and uncrossed his arms, letting his hand brush the air toward them, a tentative reach. The skyline gleamed on, its glassy facade reflecting their silhouettes, fragile outlines against the void. Maya uncrossed her arms, her fingers twitching as if to grasp something real. They stood there, the three of them, letting the silence settle softer now, laced with the faint possibility of mending. No promises, just this, the space to breathe, to hear what lingered beneath the words they'd finally dared to say. Would it be enough? The horizon offered no answer, only its vast, unbroken watch. The city hums below, a distant pulse of horns and footsteps bleeding through the apartment window, like veins under skin. Elena sits alone in the dim glow of a desk lamp, the cracked family photo frame tilted on the sill, its shards catching flecks of amber light. Her fingers hover over the old dictaphone, its tape spool worn from years of guarding secrets. She presses play, and the room fills with ghosts. The tape whirs, unspooling a montage of voices, raw, overlapping, pulled from the final sessions. Maya's voice first, soft and edged with old hurt. "I thought you had my back, Elena, but you hid it all." Cut to Daniel, his tone stripped bare. "I didn't mean to break us. I was scared." Then Elena's own words from the rooftop, wind-laced and trembling. "I controlled everything to keep us safe. But safety isn't trust." The sounds layer with the city's murmur. Tires on wet pavement, a far-off siren, mirroring the churn inside her. Anxiety coils in her chest, tight as the tape winding back. What if this honesty is just the last unraveling? She's let the walls down, exposed the fractures, but the ground feels unsteady, like the rooftop edge where they stood last night. Skyline, sprawling, indifferent. Vulnerability tastes like salt on her tongue. Admitting she failed Maya, that her grip on the narrative cost them all. The fear grips. Trust could dissolve here, in this quiet, with no solid path forward. Her breath catches, hands clenching the recorder as if it might hold the pieces. But the voices loop softer now, confessions blending into something less jagged. Maya's laugh, faint from an earlier tape, cuts through, a memory of shared sketches in the childhood kitchen. Daniel's pause, not defensive, but listening. Elena leans back, eyes tracing the tape's slow spin. Pain acknowledged, not buried. Responsibility shifts, not hers alone to mend, but theirs, woven together. The anxiety eases into a quiet acceptance, like fog lifting over the rooftops. The city sounds steady, alive. She stops the tape, the click echoing. Can they move forward now, with truth echoing in the air? The question lingers, unanswered, as the frame's cracks glint, still holding, if they choose to patch.